everyone. Welcome to an epic episode of our pod. Today, we're discussing about Arteta. We have one of our guests, Tobi, Arsenal fan Tobi, which is, I think this was the unbeaten jersey or around that period, somewhere along that lines. Tobi, thanks for coming on. You see, I knew.
Hey, how you guys doing? Back to glory days, man. Bring Wenger back, please.
After your Wenger out posters, the banners you're carrying, Tobi, you can admit. Okay, part of the team, our dear producer EeJay, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey,
Let's do this.
I introduced myself, title challenger. It feels good to be in the title challenge, but we take it easy, take it one game at a time. I don't get carried away. We're just there and keeping it trucking along. We'll talk about Arteta for sure. Where did it go wrong? We'll talk about the way forward for the Arsenal project. I'll do a quick EPL roundup, probably 2 minutes roundup of all the games so far. Then we'll give our weekly awards. Tobi's our guest here today. I'd like Tobi to kick this off. The very simple. That's why I made it simple.
Sure.
Where did it go wrong for Arteta, in your opinion?
So I think it went wrong when we didn't move enough players out this summer.
Okay.
That's one. Second thing is there is some luck there. He's been unlucky with injuries to Partey. But I also feel it went wrong when his inexperience began to show. And it's a lot of little things, but once a team gets into a funk, it's very, very hard to pull them out. And I think Arteta is a great coach tactically. I think Pep can be wrong, Wenger can be wrong. The guys who say, there's so many other people who go around the training field and come back and they talk to Ian Wright, and Ian Wright is like, look, these guys said Arteta is the real deal. So I have to take all those people's words and say, he must know what he's doing on the training field. However, I think when you're managing players that are close to your age, Ozil is probably his age or older. Ozil hasn't won a World Cup. Arteta was never the player any of all these players were. And these guys played with you. You got to remember that, right? Arteta played with Ozil. He played with El Neni. He played with some of all these other young guys. He played with Walcott. Played against Walcott. So I think the soft skills of the game, the other things you could do, how you lift players that are just like you, how you inspire them when they're going through tough times. I think that's where he's failed. I also feel that he's a purist in the way he wants to play. And it was working when Aubameyang was on full confidence. But we still weren't creating many chances when Arteta took over. Aubameyang was just extra clinical. But we're winning games by 1 goal margin. If you go back and look, we were never always creating so many chances. The attack was always slow. And so I just think lack of experiences is where it really, really went wrong. Yes, coming into coronavirus season was hard. There were extra challenges. And I think he's being asked to do too much. We had this guy to be coach, and then he wins an FA Cup and a Community Shield, and the club guts all the structure around him and says, you know what? You're no longer coach. You're now coach and manager, and it's you, Edu, and Vinay. Go figure it out. Just the 3 of you. Everyone else is gone. Raul Sanelli's gone. Steve Ministlat, head of scouts, is gone. So many people have left. They were firing scouts left, right, and center. And so I think, I would say it went wrong for him this season. Just not being able to adapt, not being able to face the reality, and not being able to maybe treat some of your senior players the way, not being consistent with how you treat senior players. I give the example of Willian. They say Willian went, I don't know whether he went to the Middle East on one, he broke some team rule during COVID. He went to Dubai. Not a word. You have also that you're freezing out, rightly or wrongly, whatever. But that would affect some. I'm sure there are a couple of players who are pro Ozil, and other players are we don't care. But that's a player like them. And then I think Arsenal just plays very differently now than when Arteta started. I know I have couple of minutes left. But when Arteta started, he came in and he said, I have non-negotiables. Everyone is going to work. And he used the word suffer. I want everybody to suffer for the team. And you could tell that with that kind of high pressing, everybody giving it their all, players not even be able to last the whole 90 minutes because they are tired of running, chasing, harrying. You could see why, okay, Ozil can't do this. I can see he wants to build a different team. And he was able to get results that were slightly better than Emery and lift us up. Yes, we kind of disappointed at the end, but we ended up winning the FA Cup. So, okay, we give him time was the message. But that's not how Arsenal plays games today, especially against lower opposition. We don't play the same way we used to play when he came. Everyone was pressing, Aubameyang, Lacazette, full intensity. It was like almost Klopp 2.0, right? And you would see players like Pepe struggle within that setup. You could argue, okay, maybe that's why Ozil doesn't work. And a lot of tactical things he did, he doesn't do anymore, you know. So we'll get into details later, but I think that's basically it. It started with the summer transfer window with the decision that he was forced to take to deregister Ozil, not bench him because we were already benching him. And he played him a little bit. Then when COVID came, he took him off. But at least, you know, he was still in and around. I don't think that decision is only on him. It just didn't move away a lot of deadwood. And so we had a problem. And then some injuries, yes, but every team has injuries. So that's where experience comes in, right? How do you cope when you don't have the squad you want? So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
EeJay.
I don't know if that helps.
Okay, fair points. EeJay, where did you think it went wrong? Or
I think
it doesn't even go wrong. Maybe, what are your thoughts?
Oh no, I think anyone with 2 eyes can see that it's gone wrong. I mean, we are 14 games in, 4 wins, 2 draws, 8 losses, unprecedented time. So it's really bad. Tobi has said it all. I think I agree with him when he says that yes, there's a big factor with the just misfortune that we've seen. The injury to Partey. Partey came in, he was supposed to be the big signing. He's played 1.5 games. Maybe he played a little bit more than 1.5. After Tottenham, in fact, let's call it 1.5 because with the sub appearance he had from the game before he showed up for Man U, it wasn't up to 10 minutes. So you see a lot of injuries to key players being frozen out. Aubameyang not firing before last season. Aubameyang was our outlet for goals. So if he's not scoring, it's clear to see why we can't make any goals. So yeah, and then if you want to wonder why it's Arteta, why is it on Arteta? He's the face of the club. He's the manager and the coach. So Tobi said one thing where he said that we're playing a bit differently than how we were playing last season towards the tail end. I think that's clearly true, but I think he's had to adapt with the players he's had, and he's trying to impose his style on the club that he's trying to move forward with. And I'm going to sound a bit pro Arteta right now, so brace yourself, Tobi. But look, we're seeing a lot of such small margin losses. These last, think about it. The game after United, even that was a small margin victory. You know, that was a penalty victory. We did contain Man United properly, but apart from that, let's look at all the other games after that. There are about, I think it was 7 games after that. 2 couple draws. The rest were losses. The only game that we were outclassed in was with Villa. I'm not saying that we should not hope for more or win more. Obviously, that's what we want. We want to win. But there's something strange going on to where we can't even pull off victories. We're making all these errors every time. Own goals after own goals, red cards after red cards. And it's like individual errors. And yeah, it's a discipline here and there. It's just relentless. And I think of these players, and I'm like, one more, I actually feel bad for them because remember when Per Mertesacker wrote that op-ed in, I can't remember where he published it in, and he said, that before every game he got panic attacks and he was very, very distressed, you know. And I can just imagine if you're like a group of 11 players and you're asked to go out every day knowing that you're probably going to lose because you lost the last game and you just can't you're in some kind of funk that you can't get out of. it's very difficult to even play. But the truth is, you have to win to get out of the funk. And I don't know if Arteta can inspire that kind of victory. That's my problem with Arteta. That's where, like you said, the inexperience is showing because he's not able to pull them out. But then again, I think about Emery. Emery had funk too, where he was not able to pull the team out. Wenger has gone through those periods where he's not been able to pull out the team. I don't think anyone else can do it for them. What I do like after what I heard him say after yesterday's game was that, he didn't throw the players under the bus. He thinks they're trying hard, which you could see if you watch a game and you be objective. You're saying, okay, these players are trying. It looks like they're out of their depth, but they are trying. They're doing their best, and they're still not pulling things off. It's unfortunate. But yeah.
Can I respond to that?
Well, wait. Let me say this one point. I think, yeah, if you ask where it went wrong, the answer is it's not a problem. There's an issue. Shannon Sharp will tell you, problems you can solve. Issues you have to work through them completely, and that's what we're doing. That's what we have to figure out. I don't think any of us know the answer. But yeah, you go on.
Okay, so there's some points you made that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
And I'll start with one. You said, I think you said something like the players are trying, like Arsenal has had a lot of narrow losses based on the scoreline, yes. Football, like anything in life, if you run statistics and you look at the mean, everything will revert to the mean, right? Someone posted some stats the other day and said Arsenal is like 16th in chances created in the league, like 20th in balls box. Like our offensive stats are horrible. Aubameyang is not being given 7 chances, and he's not a striker out of form because he's hitting the ball and it's not going on the net. Aubameyang has always been a striker that thrives on pace. Yeah. He needs his pace. He's not a back-to-goal striker like Giroud or Zlatan or some other thing that you only want to give Giroud the ball close to the halfway line because he doesn't have the legs. He doesn't have time to exploit all that space. So the point is we're not creating chances for any of our forwards. Good chances for any of our forwards. Average XG, I can't even pull it. I'm sure Ayo can pull it because I know he has all those memberships. It's very, very low because we're not pulling it. So when you say you have a narrow loss, I think Arteta, our defense is not the problem.
They're leaking goals.
It is not the problem.
You guys got one goal.
Couple of goals. No, but hold on. You can consider an own goal. United considered a goal today.
Scored 7 goals.
Yes, exactly. But they scored 7. Wenger always said something, and I'm probably quote Wenger too many times. He said the worst score line is, I think he even said is 2-1 or 3-1. I think he said 3-1 is like the worst score line because one more goal and the opponent thinks they have 3-1 or 2-0 is the worst score line because one more goal and the opponent thinks they have life, and then your thing psychologically now says, let's protect our lead. We just conceded, right? It was 3-0. We just gave them 3-1. Oh. And it's all about momentum. And so, yes, we've lost games by 1 goal, fluke own goal. But Burnley, Aubameyang is Burnley's joint top scorer at 1 goal. Right. And Burnley was sitting at the bottom of the league. And we couldn't create. I don't mean, yes, if you don't create goal scoring chances and you don't score, you're subject to the odd fluke of Aubameyang scoring an own goal. That you say, oh, well, it's just a fluke. No. It's a fluke because in the 90 minutes, you didn't do enough. And that's my criticism with Arteta is offensively, he doesn't do enough. Arteta reminds me, and someone says on another podcast, it looks like if Arsenal is a recently promoted team into the Premiership that survived relegation just out of defense and now said, okay, let's try to climb up and let's change how we play to be more offensive. And then now they are struggling again. Because that is like, this is what season we're seeing is like, okay, you're actually defending okay. There's a time someone posted maybe a couple of games ago, we had the second best defensive record in the league, right?
A couple of weeks back.
But we have if you have the second best defensive record, but you have the 18th worst attack, you're going to be where you are because you're losing games by, you said, one margin, 2 margins. The other thing you said was, Arteta came out and said the fans, the boys are trying. But what else did he say? He said we dominated against Everton, but that was just unlucky. I'm sorry, I watched that. I watched the 90 minutes of that game very, very calm because I predicted that we're going to lose, wanting to be proved wrong. I literally wanted to eat my words. But I looked at it and I said, sometimes you just have to look at the trend and you say, it's more likely we lose. And Everton was pretty disappointing, honestly.
Yeah.
They lost, I think they lost 2 key players before the game. So Everton was actually pretty average.
Yeah. The truth is that we dominated them yesterday in every aspect. Apart from goal scoring, we dominated.
You feel that Arsenal, goal scoring, but did you feel like
we created more, everything you look at, we created more chances, we had more shots on target, on goal, we had more possession, we had more passes, everything was more. That's what I'm saying. If you look at stats, we dominated them.
If you look at where those things were happening, I can think
that's what I'm
of
saying. Okay, then stop doing nothing.
One good chance. No. One good chance that I think a different striker could have buried. And that was the one that came to Eddie, that he hit it first.
Correct.
Yes, I think that was a good chance. I think
but that's probably
another chance Luis hit the post right when Pickford was up his line.
But did you come across that game like, and I just want to get your opinion, did you really feel that in that game, do you feel like Arsenal dominated? I think Arsenal stopped Everton from playing. So this is where I'm careful. I think Arteta had a game plan, which I blamed Emery for, which was you're managing like you're an Everton manager. You're managing like you're middle of the table. You had a game plan to stop Everton, which kind of worked. That's why we looked average. Because we stopped them from doing what they usually do. And they had injuries, right? But other than stopping them, what do we do?
I'm going to move us on to the next part of that thing. Let me move to the next part. So I heard everything from what you guys have said where it went wrong. I kind of see, tactics, formation. I'll say my thoughts. My quick thoughts about Arteta is I think he has the makings. I think he's a good coach, right? Apart from everything you guys have said, right, Pep. For my eye test, like when I make calls, you think I'm trying to get reaction or I was trying to be different. I watched you guys and I saw the quick change in how he was playing out of the back. When I post up, I'm just being honest. I see the makings of good coach. The major problem, I think, looking on the outside looking in, he got a lot of big decisions wrong. Man management. I don't think he should have gone for Willian. I think he managed the big players, wrong. I think so. The whole throwing players under the boss aspect and all of that. I also think during the summer thing, he should have fought as hard. Now, maybe that is not his fault. It's above him. He should have fought very hard to either do 2 things. Either make the board say, we're moving a lot of deadwood out, or be brave to play kids. He went and he got stuck in between. I call that he did the in-between thing, where it's like, we want to actually go to the root cause of the issue, but we also want to challenge for top 4. It's like, I think that's what led to the Willian thing. He should have gone for Willian, in my opinion. When I saw that sign, I was like, I don't think Willian should be experienced head. Yeah, that's just my opinion generally. I might be wrong. Right. But I think as a manager, he has a lot to learn. And the thing about football is when you're out of your depth or when your goose is cooked, for lack of a better word, bad luck will start happening. At the time you're supposed to get a break, instead you get a bad break, like the injury to Partey, and he rushed him back if he injured himself again.
Red card.
I say this because I saw at January of this year, I saw Solskjaer just switch lanes. Solskjaer was unraveling up until that Bruno signing. You could see it. I went to Old Trafford, I saw the game against Burnley, the stadium. Solskjaer was on the edge of unraveling. Maybe we don't be relegation zone, but his career at United, like we're on that edge. If we did not get Bruno Fernandes at that time, and Bruno didn't come with that level of impact, and COVID didn't happen, like a lot of things fell, and I'm not taking anything from Solskjaer, and I'm going to be very honest, he has done well. I'm just saying, when things are not going to work for you in a place, especially managers, from my experience of watching football, the things that need to break for you break the wrong way. And that's what I saw for Solskjaer. Bruno Fernandes broke the right way. He came, he wasn't a signing that came in like a Mkhitaryan that needed time to settle in. He came in and hit the ground. If he didn't hit the ground running, and COVID didn't happen, 2 things that was not really his control, to be very honest, especially the COVID part. We don't make tough for. Manchester United do not make tough for last year, and they'll fire him. Like, they would have just moved on from Solskjaer. Because the Glazers, American owners, it's all about the money for them. They needed that money. They needed that Champions League money. So now, going back to Arsenal, what is the way forward? Let me start with EeJay this time. What do you think for this Arsenal project?
Okay, so this is my opinion. I think Arsenal's just a strange club. I believe we're very broke. That we operate like a club that the finances are just like in the toilets. I'm pretty sure they cannot afford to let Arteta go. Whether it's because they signed him for 3 years and I can't remember the figure they signed him for. They're not gonna let him go unless I believe the situation becomes untenable. So the question is, when is the situation untenable for Arsenal right now? Right now, we're 14 points from 14 games. It'd be like if we drew every game from the start of the season. But yeah, so for me, it's when we start dropping into relegation zone. Obviously, we're 4 points ahead of the drop. We're 17 point, 17 position. I think he gets a transfer window, which is in 2 weeks. We see what Arsenal decides to let him do. Again, we're talking book club with no money. It will be very hard to attract players because of the position we're in, where it's really bad. It's big trouble. But the truth of the matter is this: we can't afford to bring a new coach in. You're not going to bring a caretaker coach. I don't want to see Per Mertesacker be our interim coach. We need to get over the funk, start winning a couple of games, win a game in the next 3 games, get players in, get Partey back to fitness. Hopefully, Alba starts firing again. Move some of these players. Ozil is not going to play again. I'm pretty sure that's a money issue, and I don't think. I mean, between you, I don't mind if Ozil comes back in some capacity. They can register him, but my guess is the money is just like the 100K extra a week that they're saving from not playing him is probably more is going to stop from happening. Let's see what happens. I'm thinking February. February, we're still at 14 points in February. Then that's however many games to go after that. Maybe about 12 games, 13, 14, 15 games. That's when they'll fire him. That's my guess. I think he can get that time. I think what we want, Arsenal want to be a club that can compete with our own style, a coach that has a style that works. Like I think of players like our teams like Liverpool, that Klopp, and then obviously Klopp never dipped this over their players. If you look at the team that started when he got there and the team that won the championship last year, it's like I think the only player that's still there was from that team was Henderson. Yeah, who else? Maybe Lallana. It's very different. So I think what we want, the hope anyway, someone like me that wishes Arteta well, even though I think he's very, very close to being, like I said, the situation being untenable. I hope that like some of his ideas with his coaching tactics and skills can get the players that he wants out of this team that can't do anything right now. Inject players that can bring some magic, a spark, get this thing going and see what can happen. But I think my deadline will be February. By February, I'll be like, look, I will move Arteta myself. I don't think Arteta, it don't gotta be Arteta, but I think we don't want that turnover coach. We don't want musical chairs. Oh God, we don't want musical chairs coaches. It's very, very annoying. And our team, we don't do that at Arsenal, So this has to be right, but I think we have to February.
This has to be right. Okay. Tobi, what are your thoughts? Finish, EeJay. Go ahead.
No,
I'm good.
Okay. Tobi.
So the question is, what do we do from here, right?
Correct. Yes.
How do we change things?
Short term and long term. EeJay kind of has almost touched on maybe short. If you can add long term, maybe we can go back to EeJay to wrap up long term. Short term and long term. What's the way forward?
Okay. Short term, if they're going to do something short term, they should have fired him after Burnley. Yeah. Now it makes no sense. There's 3 games left to the end of the season. City, Chelsea, Brighton. City, who cares? That's a FA Cup or whatever it is. They will play Chelsea in the league. And the way all our ex-players have been doing us, starting with Walcott, then Iwobi with the assist. I'm expecting Giroud to give us a hat-trick when we play Chelsea. So I don't expect a win. I expect a loss at Chelsea. Yeah. And I don't think they fire him then. However, Brighton is our fellow relegation SKP. if we don't get 3 points at Brighton,
I
kid you, there are no fans in the stadium, or it's reduced fans. If the team doesn't get 3 points at Brighton, already the volume is high. What you're not seeing is because there are no games in Arsenal with the full crowd. If the full crowd was there, I think this is worse than Emery.
Yeah. Ooh.
Because we were never in this position with Emery. This is the first time the club has been in this position. So I think the Brighton game, if he doesn't win against Brighton, I don't want to give him if he can get 3 points at Brighton, if we get a draw, then you have to ask yourself the question, where do you get 3 points? You didn't get it at Burnley. You didn't get it at Southampton. You're not going to get it at Brighton. Is it Sheffield? Because trust me, no one is guaranteed points at Sheffield anymore. Because you know what those guys are going to do, right? The thing Arteta is complaining about, low block teams, 2 backs or 4. This die there football. You know what I mean? Where we're all going to die here. We're not even here to play football. We just don't, because that's the relegation struggle. So how do you even go get 3 points at Sheffield? They're going to sit back and pack the bus and everybody and come. So my point is those games are even harder in the best of times. You know how football is now. When you get to relegation 13 teams and you think, we'll win them 4-0. And you've beaten the mid-table clubs 4-0. You now get to Sheffield and get a draw. They might even win from one fluke corner. So you can't count on those games. So I think Brighton, if he gets 3 points at Brighton and maybe gets a point at, even if you lose Chelsea is a moot point. They're not going to take a decision. So short term, it's kind of late to fire him. Whether they fire him now or they fire him after Brighton, we're still in the same position macro-wise at the end of the season. And I think we're between 12th and 15th. At best, 10th and 15th. I don't see us getting top half of the table. There's just too much noise. It takes too many. It's not the points gap. It's how many you have to get those points and hope all these other teams don't get those points as well. And I just don't see it happening. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Now, long term, to answer your question, and where I think the club should go to the mistakes they've made now twice is first was Emery and Arteta. So now it should be obvious to Kroenke. There's something EeJay said, Arsenal behaves like a broke club. And I posted something on Facebook that Arsenal has invested more money in the squad in 2 years than Chelsea has. They actually went to Kroenke to get money for Partey because that was full release clause paid, no instrumental payments. Right. And the books couldn't manage it. Like Kroenke floated Arsenal for the first time. He's been a useless owner. I don't like him. He's never spotted a club. But for the first time in his life, he floated Arsenal this summer. He was like, pandemic, I see everything. We're going to have negative accounts, but here's 45 million. Go get that party guy. And that's because young manager, upcoming, change the system, let's back him in his little way. I'm not saying it's so impressive or anything, but if you just look at the amount of money spent net past 2 seasons, Arsenal has outspent most clubs other than maybe United and a couple of others. So yes, we are broke in the sense that we have a big budget for salaries and with COVID and everything. So yes, there's not a lot of headroom. The owner has to back again. And if I were the owner, honestly, so macro long term, if I were the owner, I get rid of Vinay, who runs the club, the CEO. I get rid of Edu, who's just as inexperienced as Arteta, and I get rid of Arteta. And I then say, I don't trust you guys in January. I'm willing to put $100 million down, whatever it is, 50, whatever. We know Ozil is going to be out of contract. You lose that 350K. I think Skolasinac is out. A couple of contract, Socrates is out of contract. Some guys will go, some guys will go automatically. And then by the next summer, a lot more guys are gone. Laka is out of contract. They better not offer him a new contract. People like that need to go, not because they're not good, but they can't take us to where we want to go. They're not good enough because we have Aubameyang that's better and we've invested in him. So let's solve other problems. We don't have a midfield. Okay. So macro, I think I think the solution is whether you fire Arteta now, to me, you only fire him if you're worried we actually relegate. Yeah. And 4 points is not a lot. If we're 4 points in February, that can turn. That is still not close enough to get off of the relegation zone. You need to have like 12 points above you to say you're safe. Because if you go into the last game of the season with a 2-point margin, anything can happen. So I think if Arteta, if they can do whatever they want to do in January to make sure we don't relegate, because season is gone, then fine, keep them to the end of the season. It's too late now, right? That ship has shipped. And we're playing 3 games a week for the next couple of weeks. So then what they now need to do is in January is get rid of all those 3. My decision. All those 3 are not good enough. They don't have experience. They've never done it before. There's not the past that makes me think they can do differently in the future. So I get rid of all of them. And then I go to a club. I was joking with the guy. I go to a club management like Leipzig or one of them, and I just take the entire management system. I take the head coach, I take the chief trainer, I take the chief scout, I take the CEO, and I just say, come and run this club. Honestly, because if you fire Arteta and you leave Edu and Vinay, who made the decision to sign Willian? Arteta said he wanted him. Mm-hmm. We know that Williams, what's his name? His manager, not his manager, his agent is Edu's agent, right? And then all this Brazilian connection. Yes, he is. So in a way, it was like I was hoping that William was supposed to be Arteta's impact signing. He's used to the league. He hits the ground running. Yeah. That was supposed to be Bruno Fernandes.
Hope. Yeah, that was the hope.
That was the hope. Okay, we don't really like this 3-year deal, but if we can get him, and what do we do by getting him? We drop Pepe. Yeah. And that's our highest value player that we have. Probably still has the highest resale value out of any other player in the club till today, right? So I think long term, you just got to say, okay, we got it wrong, but it's not just the coach that we got wrong. Because even hiring the coach, I asked you to show me a post where I said, what do I think about the decision to hire Arteta? I said it's high risk. Even that decision was made by, I don't think Kroenke is not making these decisions, right? Vinay or whoever runs the club is making decisions, okay? So to me, you've shown bad judgment twice, Emery and now this. So why should I trust you? I know I have to put in money. If not, stuff ain't going to work. But why you? I'd rather someone comes in with a plan. If it's a manager that's out of a job, I'll use an example. If you go get a guy like, who was former coach of Tottenham? What's his name now? Poch, and Pochettino, and he says, look, this is my structure. This is how I plan to come and run it. I won't give it to Poch, but I mean a player like Pochettino, a manager like him, that may be out of a job, but has his system, that work club. That's what we need. We need a complete system, not just a manager, because it's like, I'm sure a lot of your frustration is with, what's the guy that runs your club?
Ed Woodward.
What's his name again?
Ed Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward. A lot of United fans are not happy with Woodward because they think he's a money guy, it's not a football guy. So to me, you may have the same problem where you get a coach that does something well in 2 years, but after a while, he gets fed up and he leaves. So you got to fix everything. And I don't think those 3 guys, Edu, Vinay, Arteta, they all just need to go at the end of the season because they went to Kroenke and said, give us Partey and Willian, let us do all these things, and we get Champions League football next season.
I mean, Partey hasn't played. Is what it is.
Are you going to get Champions League football?
No.
So it's one thing to say Partey didn't play, but we were 7th, right? But let's say we're 7th right now. Yeah. And you say, okay, well, Partey comes back and maybe we can make a late run for it. But no, we're not getting Champions League football unless we somehow win Europa. So
these games, I mean, this season is very inexplicable. I think even with our squad, we should be doing better than we are. Like it's a little bit crazy. I think I still want to see more. Like, so I hear everything you say. I just don't think we're thinking, okay, like the example you gave, like go to a team and get their entire management squad. If you pick a team like Leipzig and that's never going to happen. So like, what's the realistic example that you can give that we can pull
I think
to get rid of Arteta?
I think it can happen. Look at how many people want this job. People are like, oh, well, who do you get? I'm like,
Leipzig is in Champions League. They're not
hold on. I don't mean right now.
Okay.
But who wanted the Arteta job when Jose Mourinho came to sit down in Arsenal.
He wanted it.
And watch a game and had dinner with Don Raul. Mourinho wanted this job.
I think Ancelotti definitely wanted it.
Ancelotti wanted this job. My point is, go to Germany and pick a guy that is doing great things with a mid-tier club that just lacks resources but has a plan. They actually know how to bring players from the academy, sell them at value. Sorry?
I said, like the guy at Southampton, that's how they got him.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what you need to do. You need to say, okay, what do I want to be? I'm never going to be City. So I want to find my next club. I want to find a guy that I can back for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I know my first 2 years will be bumpy. So maybe I tell him, look, forget Champions League even next season. You may finish 6th, 7th, whatever. Get to Europa next season. Okay, that's the plan. We're going to have a plan to phase out all these old players.
But let me ask you, I get your points, because I don't want to cut you off, because I know in the interest of time. But do you not think that was what the hope was with Arteta? So your point that because Arteta is not pulling it off by December, that overhauled that project because he had no experience. That's your point.
That's my point, because Arteta has never done it. And there's no structure behind it to help him. See, when they brought in Arteta, they brought him in as coach. Yeah. Right? And then all of a sudden, they investigate Raul Sanelli. They send him packing. Steve Minislat, that was running our stat DNA.
Raul was embezzling from us. He has to go.
Wait, hold up. Steve Minislat, that was our scout using to help us identify talents on cheap. He left the club out of
He left
anger.
before Raul, though.
He left because he was arguing with Raul. Yeah, because him and Raul were giving opposing visions. So the reason why I say don't just go bringing another person is because then you then have opposing visions. There was a fight for who was more powerful, Raul or Minislat. And then Arsenal was like, all this boardroom, we don't like it, let's simplify it. Okay, it's Raul. Oh, but we don't like the fact he got Luis and maybe there was too much side payments. Let's get rid of him. Oh, and by the way, this guy we said was just going to be coach. Let's now give me coach, manager. So Arteta's day job is looking at the academy, who's going to bring forward into the academy, looking up at transfer windows, looking over all these contracts, because he's now manager and coach. He's never done that before. Now, this job, even if you bring in Alex Ferguson today, is still very, very hard. It's very, very hard. It's $1 billion company.
Yeah,
I think by two guys that have never run anything before. I'm sure Edu is not even my favorite invisible. Like, I'll pick Reparo before I even pick. Like, I'm always like, why are we so passionate with these guys? It's not like Vieira and Henry running Arsenal and they're struggling. I'm like, no, Vieira and Henry. Let's give him. I
think the passion you're seeing from Arteta in the Arteta in crowd is just like hype from winning FA Cup, and because we know that was not a fluke. I don't think you can Chelsea and City and call it 2 flukes in a row. So I think there's definitely something bigger, and it's what we say. These clubs, the things that we don't see, the things that are happening in the background, you're able to articulate it because you're paying attention. But like 60% of the things before you even come on the pitch, those things that are happening in the background that influence the game is what's killing us. Like, okay, Edu is doing this, Vina is doing this, Arteta is doing this behind the scenes. We don't know why Ozil's frozen out. Blah blah blah. Those things like this. Saliba, why Saliba not
was so good that we paid his transfer fee, and we actually needed a centre half that window just so that he could come in this season. So we waited. 30 million.
Not playing. Not like Arteta doesn't believe. I don't get it. Yeah.
So Arsenal has spent. That's a $30 million centre half that was beasting it in French League One. That and you make Holding captain. I'm sorry, as bad as Saliba is, he's probably better than Holding.
I think about Holding. We tried to move Holding out.
No, they said no. We said no. They didn't take the money. So
no, we tried to loan him out. It wasn't going to be a sale.
Give me 2 minutes. Let me just say last thing on some of the mistakes that were made, and I'm not blaming Arteta on the club. Maitland-Niles, 25 million. They say no. I want to play him. Okay, but that's money that could have been added, and we hadn't signed party. Maybe you get your creative midfield target, or you get a target too. Holding, I think Bolton wanted Holding for 9 million. We initially said no, but maybe we'll send him out on loan. So we turned down funds to keep players that we've not even used. They don't make us better. It's the point I'm making. They don't make us turn this 0 points yesterday into 3 points. And if a player cannot turn 0 points into 3 points, what's this having him? Why do we have Maitland now in the squad? He's not helping us get wins. So I'd rather take that 25 million today and go and get a creative midfielder or fix a problem spot. It's not because I don't like Maitland now, so I don't wish him Nelson
not good enough. And I just think it will take time to move them out. And also, the amount of injury we get. And just think about it. Xhaka's not playing. Like, who else would we have put in that midfield? I don't know. Bellerin got red card the other day. all these players, you have to have backups, and it's going to take time to replace the backups or replace
No,
the
I know,
starters
I know.
at four.
That's why we don't blame him for it 100%.
Correct.
But we do blame him for what with 15.
Yeah.
Like all those things, we should be 8th
You
or
should
9th
be
at
doing
worst.
better than this.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's the whole
That is inexplicable. That's my point. It's inexplicable. That's why I think things are inexplicable. Will turn around. If it doesn't turn around, I say February, and I'm good after February. You can go and pick him up and remove him.
That's fair. So I think just to wrap up, EeJay says February. Tobi says wait till Brighton game. If that doesn't work out, you are out. You want him totally out. Get what caretaker manager. Or you want a permanent immediately, Tobi. You want caretaker now?
No, I think
permanent person immediately, right away.
No, I think if he doesn't win at Brighton, to me, there's no point even a caretaker manager for the season. I say if he doesn't win at Brighton, then you know he's definitely gone in the summer. But all you're doing is you're now looking for who that next manager.
I see what you mean. Just
what if he doesn't win and wins Europa Cup? And the situation, let's say he wins Europa Cup and he finishes 14th in the league.
I will still change that structure.
Okay.
You still let him go.
I don't trust Ed. This guy just signed William for 3 years.
No, that was mad. That was.
Europa League is a fluke because now you're in Europa League, so now you're definitely going into Champions League. So you don't have that backup option.
Yeah, you can do like United and drop back in though.
Let's move on. Let's move on. This has been good. This has been good. For sure. I mean, we'll revisit this Arteta conversation. We'll see how it pans out. Jumping to round up the league, I'll touch United a bit quickly. I think Manchester United under Solskjaer has been very weird. First, I want to talk about like the season, right? Around the EPL wrap-up. We talked about the season being in unprecedented times. I think years in time, we'll look back at this season as one of those seasons where we did not know the effect of COVID on these players in the sense, one, lack of preseason, the amount of games we are asking them to play, and they still have to go back home like everything is normal and everything around them is really not normal. They can't see their families. Some of them have families who are sick. They've seen people die. They've seen like different things. And we've asked them to perform the same way. And to go a little bit into stats, it's shown that everything this season, the pressing from everything, including the best pressing since Liverpool City, has dropped significantly. Southampton, like all of them has dropped. I think it's only Southampton has maintained the same level of pressing from last season. Only Southampton. Every other person has dropped. So talking about United, now I would say the big black mark for Solskjaer and his team has been dropping out Champions League for sure. It's like the way it happened. When we started on a high, everybody got carried away. And I remember EeJay was trying to draw me out on it. And I remained calm. I remained calm for very specific reasons because I knew that the teams we're playing have very, very intelligent tactical managers. And the fact that we still had to play them in our last two games, I didn't get carried away. I was like, oh, I just want to say Ole. And I said, I know these managers. I know them very well. I know Tuchel. I know Nagelsmann. So I know that they were not going to fall for the same trick twice. I knew that. So I was just hoping that at least we get a point. Because all there was a point at that time, just a point. Like, we can draw, but they tactically outdid us and we fell out. And I think a lot of United fans were like really mad. I was a little bit, especially how we started, but then again, I remember I never picked them to come out of the group anyway. I was like, it's okay. I'll focus on the league. Right now, we're on a run of 6 wins and 1 draw. And I was telling a couple of my guys, the proof is in the pudding, guys. The proof is in the pudding. 6 wins and 1 draw in this season where nobody has been consistent. Leicester started like a house on fire. Everton started house on fire. They lost 3 games in a row. Leicester lost to like Fulham. Lost. Now they've gone back winning. Everybody thought Tottenham was going to win the league. They started like house on fire. They've lost back-to-back games. Chelsea, everyone saying Chelsea is going to win the league.
Nobody thought.
Our dear EeJay, they lost 2 games back-to-back.
I still think Chelsea has a chance.
Okay. I think I've said it.
I mean, they all do. I mean, it's really just 14 games in. It's really 14
guys.
games in.
I've said it. It pays.
Oh yeah, that's.
Liverpool will win, but it's saying who has.
Okay, for title challenge.
Yes.
Does that have a chance? No.
I have a theory.
Yeah, the challengers.
I have a theory about title challenge this season. I have a theory, and it goes back to what I said about this is why it's a weird season. It's all bunched up in there right now between first and it's closing up now. It wasn't as wide before. It was like 10 teams. I think now it's like 7 teams that are within 6-7 points of each other now. Some people have game in hand. We have a game in hand. I said this. I think I was telling that thing. I said we'll know the real title challengers this season. Just because we know we started late. Don't forget that we didn't start in August. We started in September. So right now it's like we're in November. But not in December. Do you get my point? From late. I think the real title challengers we will not find that around end of January. And I'm being honest, or February. That's when we will know. Because I think at that point we'll see the real separation of the league. At that point is when we know who are title challengers. So if you want to consider a title challenge or 14 games to the season, fair enough. Yes, obviously we're in it. Now we have a game in hand, we're 5 points behind. Can we sustain it to the end of the season? I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Because the one thing that has gone our way has been we've not had key injuries all season. How do we cope when we get key injuries? If Rashford goes down, if Bruno goes down, if Pogba goes down, that's why Bruno and Rashford, I think those are our main key players. I love Pogba to death, but now
if Bruno goes down,
is that?
I was saying it's not Pogba. Is if Bruno goes down.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying I love Pogba to death, but I think the team has moved on from being built around Pogba. It's been built about Bruno and Rashford. If any of those two guys go down, and we keep chugging along and we're still within 4 or 5 points on Liverpool, then I'll know we're serious. Right now, we're in good form. Kudos to Solskjaer. He's doing very well. I'll give him he's good. He's really doing well with what he has. Because the honest thing, he doesn't have the best squad in the league. Maybe we're around third or fourth best squad. He's doing very well. He's keeping the squad to his potential. You said?
I say you're probably the most expensive squad, though.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And that's why we've been taking shots all this while. Shots have been fired at us that we're underperforming. Right now, I think we're kind of performing at par with our quality. Right now. So, right now. So kudos to him. He's doing it. Because for some reason, people were saying we have a terrible season. But all of a sudden, we've bounced back. 6 wins, 1 draw. So kudos to him. Let's see if he can sustain it. Let's see. Long term, I still don't know. If I get more information, if he can be the guy. But one thing I would say, and I've always maintained, I always say that he's made some big decisions. He's got the big decisions right. It's very critical when you're trying to build. He's got some big decisions right. The signing of Bruno has been like impactful. This changed the mentality of the team. Having Bruno there, having that guy that you know that can have a stinker for 88 minutes and still get a goal and an assist. That is very critical. That's what you guys have with Sanchez. You know,
that's magic.
Yeah, that's magic. That's what you guys have with Sanchez and Ozzy when was they won't do anything, but they will impact goals and assists. We lacked that for so many years. The second thing that he did really, really well was identifying players who want to. I think he learned from the mistakes of LVG and Mourinho. When he was buying players, he was careful about the character of the players. Do they really want to play for Manchester United? You know, like just identify those players has been critical. And this Bruno has been excellent. I think Wan-Bissaka has been good. Going forward, he has some problems, but he's been good. As a defender, he defends well. Maguire has been underwhelming, but he has not been a flop, like some people try to say. He's been underwhelming. But because in some games he has been good, but it's been an underwhelming signing. So, I mean, that's fine. But overall, man management has been exceptional. I keep telling people that it has. Because this Pogba situation had the capability to blow up in his face with Raiola. And he made sure he did not go the other way. Because I guarantee you, if we had someone like Gary Neville, maybe I'm taking a shot at him, I don't care, as our manager, Gary Neville would have gone to the extreme and tried to freeze Pogba out of the squad, and that would have turned some players against him. And once that happens, you lose the dressing room very quickly. So for Pogba, he has managed that situation very, very, very well. Pogba has pretty much, he's almost like an impact player now. Pogba is playing. Like he's not throwing a tantrum, he's coming and impacting, and the team is chugging along, you know. So kudos to Solskjaer. Let's see how far we can go. That's what I'm saying. I'm enjoying winning 6-2. Chelsea. Lampard. I made that post. I said I'm watching Lampard. You know, Lampard is on my fraud watch. A couple of people are on my fraud. He's on my fraud watch right now. And not because, funny enough, right? I think last year Lampard did very well. And I think a lot of people do like to think about Lampard.
We all said that.
Yeah, with kids, he did very well. Like all these kids, and he brought people like Mason Mount, Rhys James. I think that's very impressive that last year. And he got 4th position. But now that he has quality now.
It's the burden of expectation.
Yes. The burden of expectation has changed now.
I said it's the burden of expectation.
Yeah, that's true.
When you now know, okay, I'm not just playing kids. Why does Arsenal move the ball quicker in Europa? 1-2 pass, like I said, through ball, goal. This was same Europa, same Arteta. But all of a sudden they felt, who's this team I can play there? What if we lose? We have none. We've already qualified. We qualified. We won.
Yeah, we not dropped the
like
game.
three games, but we qualified like three games ago, right? And we had 3 more dead rubber games. And all of a sudden, without any pressure, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. All of a sudden, they're moving the ball quick. So it's Lampard, right? When he was playing with kids, and there was no pressure from management on to deliver, then he was probably going with his guts and making decisions. And now that he's signed all these expensive players, he's like, I must win with this. You know, it's harder, right? It's never easy.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Like we had Spurs, the Spurs trade. I was telling Onoche the other time about Spurs. I said, Mourinho started well, you guys look good, you guys might be a tag challenge. But I remember telling him then, let's see how you guys go through the Christmas games, December, January. All these difficult games, that's when I'll know if you guys are really a tag challenge. And I'm still not writing them off because what I think is going to happen this season, apart from Liverpool is the outlier. I think all these teams that think they are like challenge, everybody will have that musical chairs. You know, you lose games, 2-2 games. It's like, oh, they're not these teams are title challenges. Oh, United lose game. Oh, they're not title challenges. This is like, it's going to be musical chairs until 1 or 2 of them figure out how to steady and say, okay, we want to go on a run of 7-8 wins. When I look at everybody, Liverpool is the only team I'm confident I can do that. Every other person is like, I see they still have their obvious flaws. Despite our good form, our form is good. Our flaws are still very obvious. I see it in our defense. You know, our manager has to play double pivot every time to protect our defense. Spurs, the major problem I see is Mourinho, he still hasn't gotten over on this. I don't know. I think there's something that happened to Mourinho in Madrid. I keep saying this thing. I keep telling everybody, there's something that happened in Madrid that he hasn't gotten over. Mourinho has still not gotten over the fact that fortune favors the brave. I don't know why he doesn't see that. Like, yes, you can sit back and counter when you play United, when you play Chelsea, when you play Arsenal, like, I guess the big game, City, you can do that. But 75% of the teams you're going to play look at you as a big team. Spurs, in a way, they're kind of a big team, and they're going to give you the ball. What do you do then when they use your own trick against you? Like, how do you figure that out? So he played Leicester today. Leicester came at them. And his tactics usually works when he scores first. When you concede first, and this is just me outside looking, I'm not a coach. Mourinho definitely knows football way more than I do, to be very honest. But from the outside looking in, I just look at it like, I don't think football is a light ball. You cannot just go like, oh, we've conceded, oh, let's go on attacking team now. Because then the other team has rhythm, has momentum. How do you not, like, so that's the thing that I see about Mourinho, and I think we'll probably outdo them in the sense that you cannot bank on Kane and Son scoring 90% of their chances. You're talking about chances, yeah? Tobi, about volume of chances. Their volume of chances is 3 out of 4. So these are human beings.
Yes, it's low.
Correct. That's what I mean. It's very low. Apart from Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, those are the only godlike people that you expect them to score 3 out of 3. Or Lewandowski, 4 out of 4. Football, they will have games where they need 6 chances to score 2. That's how Liverpool. Messi, sorry, what's his name? Salah misses 3-4 chances in a game. But guess what? He gets like 4 more. And he scores. That's what they do. When City were at their prime, that's what City were doing. They would create like 10 chances in a game. They'll score 3. You can't keep doing these low volume chances for Kane and Son. Because guess what? That's not what they're used to. On that porch, they used to create a lot of chances. Like, so that's what I say about Spurs. City, I think Guardiola just needs to stop this experiment of Rodri.
City hasn't evolved.
Yes. And I think Guardiola has to just tell himself the truth and just stop this Rodri, Jesus experiment. I think he should just stop it. This false 9 thing that he's trying to do, just understand that Aguero, in my opinion, Aguero has declined. He's injury prone. Every time he's getting injured, Aguero is declined now. It's not the same guy. He's always injured. Go and spend 100 million and get someone like Haaland. Rodri.
We'll sell him like a Z, though.
You said what?
We'll sell him like a Z.
I don't think even if Pep wants to do that, I don't think the guys are going to let that happen. Like, that's what I think is wrong with City. I think this idea that people think their football is still, I just think the guys that was the hallmark of that made their football like clinical. And no more the same guys. They lost David Silva, they lost company,
Yeah.
that looks better. Fernandinho declined. The spine of their team pretty much isn't there anymore. And if they are there, they decline.
Yes.
People they try to replace their spine with, they're not even anywhere close. Rodri is not giving them 30% of what Fernandinho was giving them in his prime. Jesus is not. Jesus is just a beg. Jesus is not even anywhere close. So I think that's what the problem is. That everything they're trying to follow everything through KDB. I mean, like you're not going to kill one person now. It's not going to work. I think that's his problem. It's not going to work to do that. Personally, I think that's just everything. Chelsea, Lampard just needs to stick to what his lineup is. And I understand that he has injuries, but this trying to play Havertz as a winger because they say you operate more from the wing, and he needs to understand that when players are out of form, it's okay to bench people. It's okay. Take them out of the firing line, they bring them in gradually. It's just trying to force the Havertz winner thing at the same time. Is what's I think that's what is killing them. Like, just gradually bring them in, and play players to their strength. Havertz is a 10. Play him as a 10, he'll do bits. Stop all this trying to play him as a false winger that's drifting in. That's not his game. That's not just his game, in my opinion. You guys, I mean, we've talked about you guys. It is what it is. Leicester, I think Leicester will just be Leicester. Brendan Rodgers, good coach, but I just feel like
I'll take him on.
You take? Oh, I think he's a very good coach.
I'll take him at Arsenal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I wanted him. But I know they refused. So Leicester re-signed him for like 5 years. So
yeah, I mean, he has a good setup. Leicester's is top notch.
Yeah, they quickly
gems every season from nowhere, season in, season out. Look at that Fofana kid. Look how that guy's playing. Or Castagne, their left back. I mean, Leicester is just. He's not going to leave that setup and walk into like a setup that can mess up his resume. You guys need to fix your stuff first before you can think of something.
It's an issue.
If you offer Brendan Rodgers, ask that he will jump on it.
He will not. Tobi, he will not. Not the way you are now. Tobi, be honest with yourself.
All right, cool.
Where you guys are right.
He will. It's a bigger club.
I get that.
But he will take that on. But any manager will be like, look, I know I can get the resources. Put it this way: Brendan Rodgers wants to sign a player that makes $220,000 next week. Who can sign him? It's not Leicester. Arsenal can sign him. But my point is, he can take Arsenal. He can be the next Wenger for Arsenal.
I get that. I absolutely understand what you mean.
Leicester is not winning the league. Let's just be honest.
I absolutely understand. That's true.
Very hard.
I absolutely understand what you mean, Tobi. One thing you have to always understand, though, that the flip side that you're looking at is Brendan Rodgers has been there before. You remember it was in Liverpool, right? He's been burnt before.
Yeah.
Liverpool was still trying to figure out their whole structure. That was like Liverpool. I won't say they're in the same place, but they're slightly better. But when he went to Liverpool, their whole structure thing. Remember the whole transfer committee maybe there. That was his excuse. That transfer committee. The same transfer committees who is working with club now. I don't hear anything because guess what? Club is getting right. There's a sink.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to make is, I think Brendan Rodgers understands the importance of structure. He understands a good structure and setup. Where Arsenal is right now, I don't think he takes that risk. I'm just being honest with you. Maybe a year from now.
No, that's fine.
A year from now, when the structure is
we don't want to.
He will jump. He will jump ship. I know.
If you didn't come for us when we needed it. You didn't come for us when we needed it. We were going to settle for you. Imagine me saying Brendan Rodgers. Mr. Character, and I'm settling. You were not ready for me then GT, whoever out of here. It's okay. We don't move on.
Okay,
so
let's
next
awards and wrap up with our weekly awards. EeJay, you say you have yours. Who gets your kudos and donkey for the week?
I think Liverpool. I'm just so jealous of them. 7 goals after their schedule has just been tight. I know Klopp has been crying like the last 2 weeks. My players are all injured. The broadcasters are scheduling us horribly, blah blah blah. But they still come out. They get their Red Bull in and they just come out, score 7 goals on Crystal Palace that held Tottenham just last weekend. So Crystal Palace they're not a bad team. So I'm sorry.
I said that was mind games. The whole
What did you say?
about broadcasting.
Okay. Yes.
Just to deflect from his team so that he can get the job.
Yeah. So they come out and do this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think they're impressive. Even them maintaining their form, like, you know, to the extent that they've been able to do after last season. I didn't really expect this, and you know, it's on me for always saying every year. I keep saying that Liverpool, they can't do this again. They can't do this. The year before they came back, almost went unbeaten. This year they're again at the top, just, you know, trucking along. Very impressive. So they get my kudos of the week for that. Heavy margin, and you guys may have gotten it, but you conceded 2 goals.
So that was Arsenal. We didn't create enough. That's how I've lost, and so we dominated.
My dear, we not that no one can dominate and you lose 7-2.
No, my point is the way we dominate our game against Everton by preventing them from playing, but not creating so many goal scoring chances. So maybe we created 3 goal scoring chances and we scored 1. That's how I've lost 2-1 or 1-2. Because I'm just saying, in football, when you dominate,
gotcha. That you're saying that's a true domination. Yes, of course. What's the next donkey for the week?
Egg on the face.
I'll give it to this player. Yeah, this guy, Thuram, Marcus Thuram, that spat on the player. And I just thought that's you do that in these COVID times. That's just
stupid. Yeah.
Irresponsible and reckless. And I think they docked him like over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a video of it on. It's on.
Yeah, they docked him a month's wages for that. You know, that's not. It's just the most disrespectful thing you can do is spit on someone. So I think that he gets the egg on the face for me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's me.
One last thing. I just looked at the form table over the last 5 games, and do you know who's at the bottom of that? It's Arsenal and Sheffield.
Yeah.
We've both played last 5 games. We've lost 4, drawn 1. That's the worst form in the league. The difference is that Sheffield is 20th and we're 15th. But Brighton, Fulham, Burnley, and West Brom all have better form the last 5 games than Arsenal does.
Look, we're in the worst form of our lives. We know that.
Arsenal's a donkey of the week, I guess.
Yes, because because Sheffield don't have a budget. They don't have Aubameyang, Ozil, all these players.
I get you to do that.
You're naming people that didn't play.
Okay, they don't have
by yourself.
Ketia. They don't have Ketia, Pepe, Willian, all these players. Anyway, whatever. So
who gets your kudos?
I think Arsenal's an easy donkey to pick.
Me? I'll give it to United because they are the most informed team in the league. United. United has 4 wins, 1 draw.
EeJay, you can come back.
Liverpool has 3 wins, 2 draws.
EeJay,
United is on form.
EeJay, you can come back. EeJay, you can come back. I have a connect inside United. I can get that sign up form quickly for you. They'll send it back. Don't worry, nobody will know. You just switch. It's okay. More information. Over the years, like I said,
it's funny. We make fun.
Based on the information you have. For the last few years, you thought Arsenal was the place to be. But now that you have new information, you come back. It's okay. We'll take you wide open. Come back, EeJay.
Look, I won't lie to you. Last thing I'll ever do in my life is support United. Last thing I'll ever do is support Manchester United. I just can't. Look. It's funny. I joke, okay, I've jumped to Juve, I support Madrid, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like I woke up today, I'm depressed. Arsenal is depressing me. Like then you can't replace that. That loyalty, the feeling I have towards Arsenal is real. I cannot replace it with even jumping. I watched Juve yesterday, they scored 4 goals. I'm happy, but I'm like, am I really happy?
EeJay, 21 is on the way. 21 is on the way. Come on, join us.
We'll figure this Arsenal thing out. Don't worry about us. Okay. Don't worry about us. You guys focus on your team. We'll cry. We're going through growing phase. We're going to cry. The second we left that, that's why I said it. We are going to cry. I don't know how long it will take. It may take 30 years like it took Liverpool. But one day, hopefully in my lifetime, we'll get there. It can be done.
One day. 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 One day
can be done. But right now we're all going to suffer. Arteta will suffer. We will suffer. Board will suffer. Everyone will suffer. Let's get through this. Don't worry.
Hey, all I'm going to say, 21 is on the way, and some people will be singing that song, end of season. Champion.
I told y'all, not till 2027.
United is not winning the league.
You're not winning nothing.
So, all I'm saying is 21 is on the way. That's all. That's our hashtag moving forward. 21 is on the way. That's all I'm saying.
You guys mean year 2021? That's what's coming next.
Okay.
2021.
I'm telling everybody.
Nothing.
21 is on the way. That's a good one, by the way. That would be my get out at the end of season. When we try to say, Ayo, you said 21 is on the way. I'm like, I told you guys, 2021 is on the way. That's all I was saying.
2021.
My kudos of the week obviously goes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I have to say that he's done well. Our performances have been weird. I think the last 3-4 games we start bad. We kept coming back, yeah. And I was like, oh, you're going to get. Obviously, the Leipzig can happen, and I felt like this was going to be like I thought, and some people thought it was going to be like that would have been the spark for like a bad run of form. But no, they bounced back right away, and they've been winning games. So yeah, he gets my kudos for sure. My donkey of the week. Who's my donkey of the week? My donkey of the week goes to Mario. I say this because typically he's very good at doing mind games. After he lost to Liverpool, he goes, best team lost. So he tries to do all those mind games things. Take it with you. Nah, B. Mind game didn't work. You following game, you're that L. So yeah, he gets my donkey because he thinks that mind games. Nah, B. The world has moved on. People can figure you out now. This is your sit down and hit teams on the break.
I want Arteta to even try and play this mind game. Let's even try something else. Hey, at least he's trying something, it's not working. What? Which mind games my manager and Tobi dominated?
For me, this guy look at it, Tobi.
I'm tired.
It's very simple. We'll wrap up the show and we can chat a little bit. But this guy look at it and why he gets my donkey of the day. I believe, right, there's no better way to win, right? It's all preference. I know you as an Arsenal fan, the Wenger days, me as United fan, Sir Alex Ferguson, we are used to attacking football. That's what I want to see. I'm very biased for attacking football, progressive, and that's fine. Some people like Mario prefers reactive, counterpunch. That's all great. The only problem I have with counterpunch is what I said earlier. Counterpunch just feels like your plan is so good until you get punched in the face, right? That's why I don't like counterpunch, playing counter-attacking. Like Mike Tyson says, it's always good to have a plan to get punched in the face. Attacking football, when you get punched in the face, like you see Leeds today, yes, they lost with the ball. They didn't change how they were playing. They're an attacking team. They kept going. Attacking teams, the real attacking Liverpool, when they constantly go, man, they're going. I know they drop points to Fulham. That game, if Liverpool was a counter-attacking, they would lose. They would have lost that game to Fulham. A counter-attacking team. But guess what? When Fulham scored, they say, okay. When they figured out their reading, they kept going. They kept knocking down. They broke the door down. So that's why I prefer attacking. I don't like counter-punch is like, when you get punched in the face now, oh shit, we have to change. You have to now change everything you've worked on. Because now you have to be the progressive side. So that's just my opinion. That's why I don't like it. So that's why I guess the donkey of the day, because he got an L. He was acting like we're 5 games to the end of the season, and it's like, oh, we almost win the league now. Bro, you're just a third of the season. Everybody that knows me, I'm the king of Atamu FC. Any team against Mourinho, that's who I am. I don't like the guy, so I'm happy he lost. You said what?
I probably hate him more than you. I don't like Mourinho at all. I probably hate Mourinho more than you.
No. You didn't
expect it. That's why when you said he was jonesing for Arsenal's job. Heck no. Hell no.
I was using him as an example.
I get you. But I know even you were against it. Like we would not have gone for it.
No, I didn't want him, but if you ask me now, would I have taken him over Arteta?
Be strong.
I would have taken him over this. I mean, come on, we're 15.
Yeah.
Let me wrap this up.
It's a period of time. We're going to start, like I said.
We can go offline and just let me wrap this up. Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. EeJay, thanks for hopping on as the producer. It was fun. Arteta debate. You can find all our addresses at the end of the pod. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. All just be like, share, subscribe, check us out. Thanks, everyone.